Hello, Immortal News family, and welcome back to our channel. In the last 24 hours, we have received the somber news of the passing of extraordinary talents, and today's episode is dedicated to honoring their memory. Before we start, we kindly ask for your support. If this video or the legacies of these remarkable individuals have touched your life, please consider giving this video a thumbs up as a sign of respect and remembrance. Thank you. Number 7. It was never about the spotlight, it was always about the story, Paul Karo once said. With a career spanning over 4 decades, Paul brought honesty, depth, and courage to every role he touched. He passed away peacefully at the age of 89, leaving behind a legacy built on bold performances and unwavering commitment to the arts. Born in Scotland and raised in New Zealand, Paul's journey to the stage began with a journalist's eye for truth, but it was acting that truly called him. From early theater days in Australia to major television roles, Paul never wavered in his dedication to his craft. Audiences nationwide will remember him most as Lee Whiteman in The Box. His groundbreaking portrayal of an openly gay television producer challenged norms and won him the Silver Logie for Best Australian Actor. It wasn't just a performance, it was a turning point for queer representation on screen. Paul's television credits stretched across decades, with powerful roles in Homicide, Division 4, The Sullivans, Prisoner, Phoenix, and Sea Change. On film, he brought gravitas to dramas like Death of a Soldier and A Cry in the Dark. Beyond the cameras, the theater was Paul's heart. He shared stages with some of the greats and was honored with the Eric Award for Best Actor. Those who worked with him speak not only of his immense talent, but also his humility and kindness. Publicist Jeffrey Williams once recalled Paul's anxiety before live shows, not from fear, but from wanting to get it right. He carried the weight of his characters. He cared deeply, Williams said. Even in his later years, Paul never stopped narrating stories with his unmistakable voice. In the 90s, he was named Narrator of the Year, continuing to bring truth and emotion to each line. Paul died from natural causes, surrounded by those who loved him. His family, friends, and admirers now remember him not just for what he achieved, but for how he made them feel. A true pioneer with a gentle soul, Paul Karo changed the landscape of Australian entertainment through talent, heart, and courage. Tributes to Paul Karo, all. Number 6. Success means nothing if you don't share it. That was something David A. Siegel often said, and lived by. He passed away peacefully at the age of 89, leaving behind a legacy shaped by vision, resilience, and heart. Best known as the founder and guiding force of Westgate Resorts, David didn't just build a company, he redefined an industry. From humble beginnings in Chicago, he launched an empire that transformed how millions enjoyed vacations. Westgate Resorts became the largest privately held timeshare company in the world, spanning across top destinations and employing thousands. But to David, success was measured by more than growth. It was measured by opportunity. He championed innovation in the hospitality sector and was widely recognized for it. Honors like the Horatio Alger Award, the Ernst & Young Entrepreneur of the Year, and the ARDA Lifetime Achievement Award tell only part of the story. What truly set him apart was how he gave back. After the heartbreaking loss of his daughter Victoria to an overdose, he became a passionate advocate for opioid awareness. He lobbied for the CARA Act and helped establish National Naloxone Day to save lives and families from the same pain. As a proud Army veteran, David donated more than 28,000 vacations to military families. He believed deeply in honoring those who serve, and he showed it through action. To those who knew him personally, David was bold, driven, and never afraid to speak his mind. He inspired loyalty not by demanding it, but by earning it every day. His leadership touched thousands of lives, both in boardrooms and beyond. Colleague and friend Mark Waltrip said, "David always pushed boundaries, not just in business but in compassion. He believed in helping people find joy, purpose, and second chances. David leaves behind his beloved wife, Jacqueline, and their children, who carry forward his mission to uplift others through charity and innovation. His passing brings sorrow to many, but his life story reminds us of the power of vision guided by heart. Tributes to David A. Siegel. Number 5. It wasn't just about taking a picture. It was about sharing a moment from the wild, something pure and fleeting. Jim Brandenburg once shared these words in an interview, and they echo deeply through everything he left behind. At 79, Jim Brandenburg passed away peacefully, surrounded by nature, the very source of his life's passion. He shaped the world's view of wildlife with images that didn't just show nature, they made us feel it. For over 3 decades, Jim worked with the National Geographic Society, pushing the boundaries of conservation photography. He contributed more than 20 major stories and produced landmark cover photos that brought endangered animals into homes across the globe. His remarkable documentation of the wild Arctic wolf pack on Ellesmere Island was a turning point, inspiring global efforts to protect wolves and even influencing their reintroduction into Yellowstone. But Jim's work wasn't limited to photos. He authored profoundly moving books like Chased by the Light and White Wolf, and his films allowed audiences to walk quietly beside him into forests, mountains, and snow-covered plains. He received countless honors, from being named Magazine Photographer of the Year twice, to the United Nations Global 500 Environment Award. In 2023, National Geographic awarded him their Lifetime Achievement honor, cementing his place among the very best. More than accolades and exhibitions, though, Jim's lasting mark was spiritual. He helped people fall in love with wild places, often without a single word. Colleague and fellow conservationist Jane Goodall once said, "Jim captured not just the soul of the animal, but the silence of the wilderness we're all trying so hard to preserve." He lived with intention, quietly, gently, always listening, always watching. His images spoke loudly in that silence. Jim Brandenburg is survived by his loving family and a global community of conservationists, photographers, and admirers. He leaves behind hundreds of images, stories, and a legacy rooted in compassion for the planet. His passing is a loss to the natural world and to all who cherish it. But through his lens, Jim gave us more than beauty. He gave us a reason to protect this fragile world. Tributes to Jim Brandenburg. Number 4. With quiet strength and unshakable purpose, Ray Seals changed everything he touched. His journey wasn't carved out of privilege or prestige. It was built from grit, heart, and an unwavering belief in his own potential. Ray passed away in April 2025 at the age of 59, following a brief illness. His departure shakes not only the football world but every person who ever believed in beating the odds. Born in Syracuse, New York, Ray rose through life's toughest ranks. Without playing college football, he defied the system and reached the NFL, a story few have ever told and even fewer have lived. Starting with the Syracuse Express, he caught the eye of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, earning his way into the league in 1989. By 1991, he was a starter. Ray's career spanned 9 impactful seasons, including standout years with the Buccaneers, Steelers, and Panthers. He made headlines in Super Bowl XXX as a starting defensive end for the Steelers, sacking quarterback Troy Aikman on football's biggest stage. And in one of the sport's quirkiest firsts, he deflected a pass from Brett Favre, leading to Favre's first-ever NFL completion, to himself. His route to success was anything but ordinary. That's why he was honored by the American Football Association's Semi-Pro Hall of Fame, and later by the Greater Syracuse Sports Hall of Fame. These weren't just awards, they were recognition of a path very few dared walk. To those around him, Ray was more than just fearless. He was generous, encouraging, and grounded. He didn't let fame shape his identity. Instead, he used it as a platform to lift others. His drive, especially after the tragic loss of his cousin Johnny Gamage, inspired both conversation and quiet acts of change. A former teammate shared, "Ray never talked about being a hero. He just acted like one." Ray Seals is survived by his loving family, devoted friends, and countless fans who saw their own hopes reflected in his story. His legacy stretches far beyond the field, inspiring anyone who's ever been told it couldn't be done. Tributes to Ray Seals. Number 3. Calm, clear, and trusted. These were the words often used to describe Harmen Siezen, whose reassuring presence became a staple in Dutch households for over 3 decades. Harmen Siezen passed away peacefully at the age of 84. His voice, filled with steadiness and empathy, guided the Dutch public through moments of global change and national significance. For many, he was not just a newsreader, he was part of the family. His journey began in a post-war Netherlands, growing up in different cities, shaped by stories of hardship and resilience. The son of a clergyman, Harmen experienced both the impact of history and personal trials early on. These experiences shaped his deep sense of responsibility and fairness. In 1963, he stepped into the world of journalism. By 1971, he had taken his place at NOS Journaal, where he remained until 2002. For over 30 years, he presented the news with quiet strength, becoming one of the most trusted figures in Dutch broadcasting. His calm demeanor during breaking news and his thoughtful delivery made him stand out. Harmen wasn't just a presenter, he was a mentor and a guide. Young journalists admired his poise and preparation. Listeners valued his ability to report complex events simply and honestly. He never chased the spotlight, he focused on telling the truth. Outside the studio, he was a devoted husband and proud father of 2. He valued family, faith, and service. Despite public recognition, he remained grounded and approachable. After his passing, the NOS Journal described him as a pillar of Dutch journalism whose legacy will continue to inspire generations. That legacy includes a lifetime of ethical reporting, a generation of journalists shaped by his standards, and millions of viewers who trusted him every evening. Harmen Siezen's passing, due to natural causes, has left a quiet yet unmistakable emptiness in the heart of Dutch media. But his influence lives on, in the stories he told, the anchors he guided, and the truth he always held high. Tributes to Harmen Siezen. Number 2. Music is not just a sound, it's a message of peace, Amadou Bagayoko once said. That message echoed through every note he strummed, every lyric he sang, and every heart he touched. Amadou passed away at the age of 70 after a brief illness, leaving behind a legacy that continues to inspire across generations and borders. As one half of the beloved duo Amadou and Mariam, he helped bring the sound of Mali to the global stage. Alongside his wife and lifelong collaborator Mariam Doumbia, he blended West African rhythms with blues, rock, and pop, creating music filled with joy, hope, and truth. From cassette recordings shared across Mali in the 1980s to Grammy-nominated albums and performances at global festivals, Amadou's journey was both groundbreaking and deeply human. His early work with Les Ambassadeurs du Motel, alongside greats like Salif Keita, laid the foundation for a career that would reach millions. Amadou and Mariam's fusion of styles led to international acclaim, including their award-winning album Dimanche à Bamako, and worldwide hits under the guidance of artists like Manu Chao. In 2006, they were chosen to create the official anthem for the FIFA World Cup. Most recently, they inspired audiences at the closing ceremony of the 2024 Paralympic Games in Paris. Though blind since the age of 15, Amadou saw the world through music. His guitar spoke volumes, honest, intricate, and always full of feeling. He and Mariam were more than performers. They were storytellers, activists, and icons of resilience. Amadou's kindness and calm spirit made him a beloved figure not only on stage but in every room he entered. His dedication to raising awareness for the visually impaired and his unwavering partnership with Mariam turned their music into a movement. Following the news of his passing, tributes poured in from around the world. Mali's Minister of Culture, Mamou Daffé, called his death a great loss for the soul of Malian music. Amadou is survived by Mariam, his partner in life and music. Together they changed how the world listens. The silence left behind is deep, but his melody plays on. Tributes to Amadou Bagayoko. What's trending on the internet? News 1. 10 months after a tragic flash flood swept through Utah's backcountry, authorities have confirmed the discovery of missing Texas man Raymond Ankofsky's remains. The Grand County Sheriff's Office announced on April 3 that Raymond was found near the Colorado River, roughly 37 miles from where he and his wife Miranda disappeared on June 21, 2024. The couple had been enjoying their annual off-road adventure near Moab when heavy rains triggered flash floods in the area. Their UTV was later found wrecked along a wash, and in July, Miranda's remains were recovered. Now, with Raymond located, their family can finally begin to find peace. Raymond, 58, and Miranda, 50, were beloved members of their Pearland, Texas community. Raymond worked in the auto industry, and Miranda was a dedicated elementary school teacher. Their daughter Ashlyn launched a GoFundMe to support search efforts, which drew wide support from friends, family, and strangers alike. Adding to the family's heartbreak, their son Ray died in a motorcycle accident just weeks after his parents went missing. Despite unimaginable grief, the Ankofsky family expressed gratitude to law enforcement and the community for their unwavering support. Though the loss is immeasurable, we are thankful to have answers, the family shared in a message. As the investigation concludes, the focus now shifts to honoring the Ankofsky family's legacy, one defined by love, adventure, and strength in the face of adversity. News 2. The family of 18-year-old Calvin C.J. Dickey Jr. is seeking justice after his tragic passing during a football workout at Bucknell University. C.J., a promising student-athlete, collapsed during his very first practice in July 2024 and later died from a rare condition called rhabdomyolysis, a complication his family says could have been avoided. Filed this week in Philadelphia, the wrongful death lawsuit alleges that Bucknell knew CJ carried the sickle cell trait, which makes athletes more vulnerable to this condition during intense exertion. Despite this, CJ was allegedly pushed through punishment drills involving 100 up-downs, a grueling exercise that proved fatal. He died a horrible, painful death that was 100% preventable, said family attorney Mike Caspino, who emphasized that NCAA guidelines caution against such intense activity for athletes with CJ's diagnosis. His parents, Calvin and Nicole, said they're committed to raising awareness and pushing for change. "We do this for CJ and every athlete who follows," Nicole shared. "My boy is worth it." Bucknell University has extended its condolences and reiterated its commitment to student safety, though it declined to comment on the pending litigation. CJ's story has sparked conversations across the country about proper athletic protocols, early testing, and support for student athletes. His family hopes their efforts can prevent similar tragedies and lead to stronger safety practices in college sports programs. News 3. A young bull rider remembered for his talent and heart has tragically passed away after an incident at a Texas youth fair. Dylan Grant, 24, of Laramie, Wyoming, died on April 3rd after being thrown off a bull during the second round of an Extreme Bulls event at the Wharton County Youth Fair. Medical teams rushed to help immediately, and Grant was airlifted to Memorial Hermann Texas Medical Center in Houston. Despite efforts, he later passed away from his injuries. The Professional Rodeo Cowboys Association, PRCA, where Grant was a rising star, expressed deep sorrow, calling him a dedicated competitor and extending their heartfelt prayers to his family and the rodeo community. Grant was a 2023 graduate of the University of Wyoming, where he earned a degree in physical education. He had competed across numerous rodeo events and was a proud member of the university's rodeo team. The team described him as a champion of life inside and outside the arena, adding, "Once a cowboy, always a cowboy." Wharton County Sheriff Shannon Srubar also shared condolences, stating, "Prayers are with Dylan Grant, his family, and the rodeo community." Tributes have poured in from fellow riders, friends, and rodeo organizations, all remembering a young man who pursued his passion with courage and determination. Grant's legacy continues to inspire, reminding many of the strength and heart it takes to follow your dreams, no matter how wild the ride. News 4. The Tennessee Occupational Safety and Health Administration has concluded its investigation into the tragic deaths of 6 workers during Hurricane Helene's flooding and determined that Impact Plastics Inc. is not responsible. The ruling, announced April 2nd, found that the incident was not work-related, citing that employees had makeshift routes available to evacuate. The factory, located in Erwin, Tennessee, was struck by severe flooding on September 27, 2024. 5 employees and 1 contractor lost their lives after attempting to escape rising waters. Tosha stated that Impact Plastics showed reasonable diligence in urging staff to leave. While the company welcomed the report's findings, families of the victims strongly disagree. Attorneys representing the families argue that critical warnings were ignored and that some employees, particularly Spanish speakers, were not clearly informed of evacuation options. "We vehemently disagree," said attorney Greg Coleman. "The facts simply do not support Tosha's conclusion." The families say legal action will continue, with lawsuits alleging negligence and a failure to act responsibly as the storm intensified. One complaint claims management quietly left the premises while staff were told to stay. Despite differing accounts, the spotlight remains on the need for clear communication, especially in emergencies. As the legal process moves forward, families are focused on honoring their loved ones and seeking accountability. Tosha and Impact Plastics have not responded to recent requests for comment, while the affected families continue to advocate for justice through the courts. News 5. Authorities have identified the 2 people who tragically lost their lives in a small plane crash in Louisiana on April 2nd. Lyle Panepinto, the respected owner of Southern Seaplanes, and Lauren Menkemeller, a passionate young pilot in training, were on board the Cessna 210L aircraft that went down in a remote marshland between Raceland and Houma. The aircraft, which had departed from Belchas and was en route to Houma Airport, crashed around 8:30 p.m. local time. Due to the swampy terrain, emergency responders reached the site the following morning by airboat. Sadly, there were no survivors. Panepinto was known as a cornerstone of the aviation community, while Menkemeller had just begun what many say would have been a remarkable career. Fellow pilot Stephen Pettit described her as a magnificent pilot who was deeply dedicated to her dream job. The National Transportation Safety Board and the Federal Aviation Administration are actively investigating the crash. A preliminary report is expected within 30 days as officials examine the aircraft, environmental conditions, pilot experience, and maintenance records. Local leaders and aviation colleagues have shared heartfelt tributes, highlighting the contributions both individuals made to the field. "They were doing what they loved," said one pilot, "and their passion will never be forgotten." As the community grieves, support and condolences continue to pour in for the families of Lyle and Lauren, 2 lives that soared and inspired many. News 6. Nathan Merritt, a 27-year-old father from Danville, Indiana, is being remembered for his bright spirit and love of community after tragically losing his life during a severe storm on April 2nd. Merritt, who worked as a sound and production director for Warrior Pro Wrestling, came into contact with downed power lines while trying to navigate storm-damaged roads. According to the Hendricks County Sheriff's Office, Merritt was driving his pickup truck when he encountered power lines brought down by high winds. After exiting his vehicle, he accidentally touched the live wires. When first responders arrived, they were unable to assist until the power was safely shut off. He was sadly pronounced dead at the scene. Merritt's sudden passing is one of several storm-related fatalities reported this week as dangerous weather conditions sweep across parts of the Midwest and South. The National Weather Service continues to warn of life-threatening flash flooding in the days ahead. Despite the heartbreak, those who knew Nathan are choosing to honor his legacy with kindness and gratitude. Warrior Pro Wrestling posted a moving tribute, calling him a beloved part of their family and highlighting his dedication to the sport and to uplifting others. Prayers are with his son Tatum and the entire Merritt family, they shared. Nathan's life, though cut short, left a meaningful impact. He is remembered as a loving father, a joyful presence, and someone who brought energy and heart to everything he did. News 7. Elton John is opening up about the challenges he's facing as a father while navigating a recent health setback. The 78-year-old music legend revealed that vision loss in one eye, caused by a severe infection, has made everyday moments with his children more difficult, but he's remaining optimistic. In a heartfelt interview with The Times, Elton shared that missing out on watching his sons, Zachary, 14, and Elijah, 12, play sports has been especially emotional. It's distressing, he admitted, but you have to get used to it, because I'm lucky to have the life I have. Elton, who recently released a new album with Brandi Carlile, says his family is his greatest source of strength. I still have my wonderful family, and I can still see something out of here, he said, referencing his vision. The singer's husband, David Furnish, added that Elton's resilience continues to inspire. He's a strong man, and he's a healer. He rarely cancels shows and pushes through, Furnish shared. Though the vision issue has been frustrating, Elton is taking steps toward recovery and focusing on what matters most: his family and his legacy. With a new album and a moving documentary titled Elton John, Never Too Late, he remains committed to spreading hope, love, and music. Fans around the world continue to support the icon, who proves that even through life's toughest moments, gratitude and determination can still shine through. Number 1. Hard work, honesty, and love for nature. That's what Heike stood for, once said a close friend. These simple values defined the life of Heike Vittori Hasu, whose enduring legacy stretches far beyond medals and milestones. Heike passed away peacefully at age 99, leaving behind a remarkable story etched in Finnish hearts. A native of Sipola, he reached dazzling heights in Nordic skiing, winning Olympic gold and silver in a time when competition was fierce and the sport was still growing into what we know today. At the Winter Olympics, Heikki clinched gold in the Nordic combined in 1948, then followed it with both a team gold and an individual silver in 1952. The world also watched in awe as he nearly secured a podium finish in the grueling 18-kilometer race, not once, but twice. In 1950, he dominated the World Championships, earning yet another gold and silver. Then, in a proud moment for Finland, he became the nation's first recipient of the coveted Holmenkollen Medal in 1952. These achievements helped earn him the title of Finnish Sportsperson of the Year, twice. But Heikki's story didn't end at the finish line. A farmer by trade and a humble man by nature, he turned his focus to public life, serving in the Finnish parliament during the 1960s. Just like on the ski trails, he worked with quiet determination, always placing the good of the country above all. Those who knew him speak of a man rooted in honesty, discipline, and service. Despite global fame, Heikki remained grounded. A statue in Angelankoski now stands in honor of his legacy, a symbol of national pride and perseverance. Though Heikki passed away after a long life well lived, his impact remains strong. Kind words and heartfelt tributes have poured in from the sporting world and beyond. Finnish leaders, young athletes, and lifelong fans all agree. Heikki was an example of what one life, lived with purpose, can achieve. As we remember this legendary skier and statesman, we celebrate a life filled with grace, courage, and heartfelt service. Tributes to Heikki Vittori Hasu. "No one could light up a set quite like Robert," said a colleague who worked with him across multiple productions. "He had this presence, funny, thoughtful, and completely unforgettable."